All right, in this video, this is a continuation of section 11-2. This is the homework problem number 10 that I promised that I was going to go over with you in a separate video, and here it is. You're going to determine which of the following figures, if any, can be classified under the given description. So, and the homework, they're going to ask you to drag these figures that you see here into one of these slots. Okay, so you'll be dragging each of the shapes given above into the appropriate categories below. Now, you're told that some choices may be used more than once or not at all. Okay, so in this case right here, let's start with the Isosceles Triangle, which is part A. So we want to pick the figures here that are Isosceles triangles here. Now, the definition of an isosceles triangle is a triangle with at least two sides congruent. And there are two figures in here that have at least two sides congruent. Well, this one right here, and for the sake of time, I'm going to put part A. I'm going to put A for isosceles triangle. Okay. But in the homework, you're going to be dragging them down into these slots. And also, I see this one right here. It may be an equilateral triangle, but it's also an isosceles because I have at least two of those three sides equal, at least two, meaning two or three in that triangle equal. Part B is this, isosceles, but not equilateral. Okay, now again, some choices may be used more than once. Isosceles, but not equilateral would be this one right here. Because you have two sides equal, but not all three sides equal. So also not only A, but also B can be used because you'll drag this into slot B. All right, this next one, equilateral, but not isosceles. Equilateral, all three sides are equal, but not isosceles. Now, in this case, that might be hard because of the fact that we don't have one that's equilateral, but not isosceles. Okay. That's not the case. So this one can be left blank. We can pass on that one. Part D, a parallelogram, but not a trapezoid. Okay. Now keep in mind, a parallelogram is pretty much kind of wide varieties there because a parallelogram can be either a rhombus or a rectangle, or it could be a square because by definition, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral where each pair of opposite sides is parallel. So here in this case, a parallelogram would be something like this one right here. That's a square. Now I'm going to put D there. Okay. And also this one right here, a rhombus. That's this right here. That's also going to be D. And then what else do I see? Also rectangle. This is also D, and also the parallelogram itself would be D. So in this case here, there are quite a few options there. And what about this one, a trapezoid, but not a parallelogram? Well, it's a trapezoid right here because you have a pair of opposite sides that are parallel. So here, I'll let this be E. The next one, a rectangle, but not a square. Rectangle, but not a square. It's a parallelogram with a right angle. is a rectangle. That will be under F, a square, but not a rectangle. I wouldn't pick this one because all squares are rectangles. You're saying, you know, as you can see here, all squares are rectangles because by definition of a rectangle, it is a parallelogram with a right angle. Okay, so this would not, you know, this would be blank. And also this one, a square, but not a trapezoid. Well, a square is considered to be a trapezoid because by definition, a trapezoid is a quadrilateral with at least one pair of parallel sides. And this has at least one pair of parallel sides. So in this case here, this would not fit. I wouldn't put anything there based on this. What about a rhombus, but not a kite? Let's see, right here. That would be a rhombus, but it's not a kite. Okay. So that would be under I. Is a rhombus, but it's not a kite. Well, I take that back. It won't be. It wouldn't be. Okay. Actually, a rhombus is a kite. Okay. So rhombus is a kite by definition. Yeah. A rhombus is a parallelogram with two adjacent sides congruent, and that fits the bill. But, you know, a kite is also, you have two adjacent sides that have that are congruent, and the other two adjacent sides are congruent. So this right here is a kite. So rhombus would be classified as a kite. Now, what about a rhombus itself? Well, that would be this right here. That would be under J. Okay, and also something else that's also a rhombus. That square right there. That too is a rhombus. Okay. Okay, because based on the hierarchy of polygons, a square is considered to be a rhombus. All right, and then finally a kite. Well, there are various types of kites that we see here. One of them is, of course, the rhombus and the square. Okay, so where's my rhombus, which is this right here, and the square, and there's a couple of more kites. One right here. This one is also a kite because you got a pair of adjacent sides that are equal, of course, and also this one. A pair of adjacent sides that are equal in measure. Okay. All right, so that should be able to assist you with the homework example number 10, or the homework that's similar to this in my math lab. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions about this particular problem.